Welcome to another episode of Secret Wisdom. Today, we shall look at understanding God's corporate agenda as it relates to the Dominion mandate. Before you can understand your assignment or what you are called to do, you must understand God's corporate agenda. In my book, Fulfillment of Purpose, I explained some of God's corporate agenda in chapter 3. In today's lesson, we want to examine some of them. Some of this agenda are to extend His heavenly kingdom on earth through mankind, to influence the culture of heaven on earth through man, to establish a family and relationship of sons and daughters too, who think and act like God and not just mere servants or subjects or slaves, to establish a commonwealth of citizens with legal rights or ambassadors and not religion, who believe and act like Him, to make His sons and daughters to have dominion, that is, authority, govern, control, rule, manage, subdue, and lead over earth and the universe. We see this in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. God is a king. It is the nature of a king to expand his territory. This king loves to expand by claiming new grounds and influencing it with his principles, philosophy, culture, attitude, and practice through a duplicate of himself called man. Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 says, God created man, that is male and female, in the same image like himself. The AMP version says, in the image and likeness of God. Let us pause there for a moment. How many times have we responded like he or she got my gene when our son or daughter behaved in a positively expected characteristic manner? And really, that's not just a fact, it is the truth. I hope we know the difference between a truth and a fact. Just in emphasis, a fact is what our five senses sensed or could comprehend, whereas the truth is a fact and more and much more. Ask me what is much more. Much more refers to what has been, but not yet within the radius of our five senses. A truth is a declared fact that fact could not comprehend yet. A truth is what is to be that is not yet be. A truth is what our spirit, which is the original duplicate of God, is saying that our soul and body has not been able to understand yet. A truth is the end that has been declared from the beginning. A truth is what has been declared and settled in the spiritual that may or may not be manifested in the physical yet. A truth becomes synonymous with the fact when it is physically manifested, right? However, the fact that it is not yet manifested does not make it less than a fact. Let me give an example that we can comprehend, and this is a true story. I got a verdict to evict a tenant from a court. However, the tenant was still occupying the property. The tenant declared to us he would not leave no matter what. For a moment, I was confused. I had a verdict, and yet the tenant refused to leave, even after he has been served of the verdict. Then I told my manager, find a way to execute this verdict. He went and showed the verdict to a lawyer, and the lawyer said, you don't need to show this to me. Go and show it to the police. Then we remembered that the police are the people responsible to carry out the court's verdict, and within 24 hours, the tenant was out. Now, the court verdict was the truth that only became a fact after the police executed the court verdict. If we kept the verdict to ourselves without acting in a manner to execute the verdict, the tenant would remain in the property. The fact that the verdict was not executed did not make the truth less than a fact. I hope we got this. I want us to note this principle, and we shall be using the phrase of the truth and the fact throughout this Secret Wisdom series. Now, let's go back to the corporate purpose of God. We learned that one of the reasons God created man is to expand his kingdom to a new territory called earth, and created man to dominate the earth and the universe by giving similar powers to man through duplication of himself in his image and likeness. And this is the truth. Do we agree? I understand if it's not a fact that we can comprehend yet. Okay? Man is created to dominate this new territory called earth. Now let's look at the meaning of dominate. This word first appeared in Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. I will read from the AMP version. And God blessed them, that is, granting them certain authority, and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subjugate it, putting it under your power, and rule over, that is, dominate, the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, every living thing that moves upon the earth. Dominate is an action verb in Hebrew called shalat or mashar, meaning to control, rule, master, govern, take control, boss, overrule, prevail, reign, obtain, have power to defeat, be greater in significance, look down, or be in command. Know that God wants man to dominate or rule over 3 territories in verse 28. Under the surface of the earth, above the surface of the earth, and on the surface of the earth. Can you imagine how large our territory is? Imagine how deep the ocean is. Yet, God has given us rulership over it and everything in it. Imagine how far the sky is. Yet, God has given us rulership over it, including everything in it. The sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxies, and what we call the heavenly bodies. Do you wonder why the Wright brothers were able to create an instrument that dominates the sky? Because God has given us dominion over the sky. Do you wonder why Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and the others were able to deploy satellites into the space? Because God has given us rulership over the space. Do you wonder why ExxonMobil and Chevron are able to tap crude oil from beneath the earth and convert to gasoline for our cars? Because God has given us rulership over under the surface of the earth. Do you wonder why internet works? Because God has given us rulership over it. Do you wonder why Joshua was able to tell the sun and the moon to stand still? Because God has given us rulership over them. Do you wonder why Peter was able to walk on water? Because God has given us rulership over it. This rulership is a truth and a fact, even though it may not be an apparent fact to us yet. Even if you don't see it as a fact, does not make it less than a fact. In our subsequent series of Secret Wisdom, we'll be learning how to turn this truth into a fact we can comprehend. For now, know that the truth is a fact even though we cannot comprehend it yet. Let me give an example of this comprehension for a minute. Imagine you bless your 5-year-old son that he is going to become president of America. By the way, another word for bless, as we see in Genesis 1 verse 28, is prophecy with belief and authority. So let me put it this way. If you bless, that is, prophesy with belief and authority, that your son will be president of America, you will begin to arrange things in a manner as to make this blessing manifest as fact, right? If your son is involved in a fighting with other boys, you will tell him, President, don't get into physical fighting. Instead, President, settle disputes, right? If your son is not paying attention in school, you will tell him, Presidents must be brilliant and excel in their studies, right? Every time you counsel your son, the words you use will be in a manner to make that prophecy manifest into a fact. Is that not true? If so, how come we don't apply same to what God has made us to be? Another example is from the Bible, where we learn that Rebecca was pregnant and she sought God when things were not going well with the pregnancy. And God gave her the truth. 2 nations will be born from you. The older shall serve the younger, and she kept it to herself. Rebecca knew that the truth was Jacob was the blessed one, but Isaac only had a temporal fact that Esau was the blessed one. However, because she mixed the truth with belief and authority, she started acting in a manner as to make the prophecy become a manifested fact. Another example, if a woman was pregnant and the doctor told her, you would have a son in 6 months, would the woman be buying girls' clothing? She would if she questioned the doctor's verdict, right? However, if she mixed the doctor's prophecy with belief and authority, she started acting in a manner to welcome the birth of her son. Now, if we understood that a truth is indeed a fact, even though it is not manifested as a fact yet, then it is essential we learn the truth about ourselves. In summary, the first truth we learn today is that God has made us in His image and likeness to dominate everything under the earth, everything on earth, and everything above the earth. In addition, He blesses us with power and authority to do exactly that. And all we need to do is to make this truth with belief and authority and start acting in a manner to make this truth manifest into a fact, just like the pregnant woman prepared for the birth of our son. If we get this, we get another secret wisdom, and my day is made. We shall continue with the dimensions and implications of this dominion authority later. Thank you for joining us on the Kingdom Self Business channel. If you found this video valuable, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share with others, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth exploration of your unique business. And until next time, be the best and dominate the world.